So if you guys get out your phone and you go to my website, mitigationbankinginc.com, and you scroll all the way down to a map. It's the map of all 15 of the mitigation banks that I represent throughout the state. And you click on that map, and there's going to be a little place to put an address. And type in the address of your home. Mitigationbankinginc.com. So if you type in the address of your house, you will find out which drainage basin your home is located in. And based off of which drainage basin your property or your impact location's in determines which mitigation bank you can purchase credits from. And the reason that's so important is you might be able to purchase mitigation credits in one area for $50,000 and $350,000 for another. So it's very important for us to know where we are. Even, the other side of the city might be different. So we need to know exactly the location of impact to understand how much the mitigation will occur. So has anybody been able to find their drainage basin yet? Great, which basin are you in? St. John's River Water Management District. Okay, so if your house, let's just say that you had a wetland and you wanted to build a driveway and you were impacting, a quarter acre, I would tell you that there are 3 mitigation options, okay? And I would say you have Colbert camera mitigation. They're $40,000 for a ratio credit for state mitigation, or $50,000 for a state and federal. You also have Lake X Mitigation Bank. That's $100,000 at a UMAM credit, so it's a different assessment. So we got to do both and figure out how many credits you need and multiply that to find the best option. And then there's also Farm to Mitigation Bank at $120,000 for state, or $130,000 if you need state and federal. So now we have all these options. So we know now, okay, there's 3 mitigation banks that can service my project. Yes?
So you're talking about a driveway, 40,000 for an acre. What are you talking, what's the number?
So I'm talking about credits.
I get the credit.
Okay.
How much can you build on an acre, a driveway? When you're paying 40 grand, what are you talking building all of it?
So basically, let's just say we have an acre of impact, okay? And depending on the quality of the wetland, depends on how much you need to purchase, okay? So let's just pretend that it's an average quality wetland. 0 is degraded, 1 is pristine. They say 0.6, 0.7 is average. So let's just say we get a UMAM score, a Uniform Mitigation Assessment Method is what that stands for. And it all depends on the quality of the wetland. So the soil, the hydrology, the community structure, all these different things that an environmental consultant will help you obtain. And you'll take that UMAM score, you'll multiply it by the acreage, and that's how many mitigation credits you need to purchase.
And you can fill that in whatever you want with the land.
Yes. Now, of course, has to be approved with your application. You'll get a permit that will state, I have 1 acre of impact and I'm purchasing 0.7 mitigation credits from XYZ Mitigation Bank. And it will state that.
And who approves it in this case? It's in St. John's.
Yes. Yes, so you would apply for a permit with the St. John's River Water Management District. And if your wetland is jurisdictional to a navigable body water, you would have to also apply with the Army Corps of Engineers because it's a federal jurisdiction. You're welcome. Okay. Yes, the body of water could be a lake, yes. And a wetland to you and I, a layman person, doesn't always look like a wetland. These environmental consultants will go out and look at the soil. It's a hydric soil. And if it's darker or they have these different elements, they'll say, this is a wetland. And you and I will say, that's not a wetland, but it is. So you have to be very careful and make sure that you have an environmental consultant come out and say this is a wetland or not, because you might think it's not, but it is.